Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, Transfer Talk Time. What's happening? How are you? How is your Friday going? Is it going all right? Are you well? What are you doing this weekend? If you're in the area, Stretford Paddock have got our final game of the season tomorrow, and then we're going out on a piss afterwards as a squad. More than welcome to come down and enjoy it if you want, if you're in the area. Righty then, should we talk about what's going down with some potential transfers at Manchester United then? First up, £130 million striker. What? Where are the funds coming from? Don't worry about that. Let's just talk about it. So, apparently, Ten Hag target loves the Premier League. Paris Saint-Germain are also interested, apparently, in signing Victor Osimhen. But apparently his love for the Premier League has tipped the scales in favour of United. This is according to Jason Stewart, Football 365. He's one of the most sought-after strikers in world football. Why? Well, honestly, there's not many strikers, traditional style strikers at least, that are putting up these sorts of numbers with this sort of level of consistency. To be fair, Napoli paid 67 million for him like 3 years ago when he came from Lille. He netted 23 in 29 in Serie A. He's got 5 assists. He's got 5 goals in 6 games in the Champions League. 33 goal contributions in 36 games. Not fucking bad, lads. At all. Does that mean they get to double the money on him? It might. It depends who's in the mix, doesn't it? Because honestly, 130 million is fucking carnage. It's absolutely batshit crazy in terms of how much that's going to cost whoever it is that they go with. Yeah, absolutely mental. Is he the answer to United's problems? Well, he might be. None of us know. He absolutely could be. He's got all the attributes that you would think. All of the intangibles that you don't know about, obviously, you don't know about. You're just going to have to wait and see. But on the surface of thing, he seems to make sense. Recently, managed to bring the Scudetto back to Naples. Enough to clinch the title. And supposedly he's like, done, son. Get me somewhere else. Let's see what's happening. I don't know if that talk of 130 million makes sense or if it's correct or whatever, but Jesus. Oh, that's so much dosh, isn't it? There are some doubts. He missed 6 matches in the league and 3 in the Champions League. Was there any particular reason for that? We shall see. Give me your thoughts. Osimhen, yes. Osimhen, no. If it was similar money to Harry Kane, would you roll with it? There's obviously contract situations which make it different to Harry Kane, but if it was him or Kane, straight up, head to head, who would you go with? Napoli are mad, aren't they? They just sit there, cross their arms, and go, "We want all the riches and diamonds in the world. That's the price." And if you don't like the price, well, go fuck yourself. We're not selling. It's admirable. Anyway, another one. Half of the big 6, which 3 clubs then. Yeah, basically. 3 clubs. Well, not 3 clubs, because apparently there's a quartet. There's a quartet of Premier League clubs eyeing up Gift Orban. So, 20-year-old striker, 19 goals. He's got 2 braces, 2 hat-tricks, and a 4-goal game in 19 games for Ghent this season after joining from Stabæk in January. Under contract until 2027, so you're not getting this kid on the cheap. Ghent reckon they could cash in already. How much did they pay for him? £2.5 million. Fucking hell. How much is he going to go for? London Evening Standard reckon that they could earn up to 20 million by selling him this summer. Based on that, they're getting more than 20 million, I imagine. They are definitely going to get more than 20 million for him. But apparently United, Chelsea, Tottenham and Fulham, weirdly, are all interested and have been sending people to watch Orban in action. We'll be doing a scout report on him because I think this is one that's got a little bit of legs. So we will cover that one. Ant says, Steve not feeling Osman personally, too expensive, injury prone, and Syria doesn't always translate well to the Prem. Fergal says, thoughts on Phil Jones' open letter, happy enough to collect the pay for as long as he could have moved and didn't. Rio or Keane didn't get a goodbye. No, they didn't. Totally different circumstances for all three, really, but no, they didn't. I don't know anymore after reading that letter what's happening with Phil Jones. Like, that open letter to the fans, what was he trying to say? Didn't actually really... It said a whole lot without really saying a fucking thing, didn't it? Said he had a hard time with his injuries, and that was it. Really, that was it. Luke says, you got a super chat, he says, I'm 24 tomorrow. Happy birthday for tomorrow, mate. Any tips for my mid-20s? Yeah, it's fucking all downhill from here, mate, physically. You might get into some endurance stuff in your 30s. And I don't know why people get into it. There's no 21-year-olds doing ultramarathons, yeah? They haven't collected enough fucking darkness in their life to hate who or whatever it is that surrounds them enough to punish themselves for 100 miles. You don't really see fucking 20... Because let's be honest, the people who should be doing ultramarathons and fucking regular marathons and all that sort of like Ironman triathlons should be the 21-year-olds, but it fucking ain't. They're the ones who should be able to recover from it, not fucking crazy old bastards. But that's who's doing it. So what does that tell you? Reese says, Oserman, yes. Thoughts on a Taylor Booth scout report? Put that on the list and we'll see. Brian says, to be honest, I thought I'd probably go with Kane purely because he's Premier League proven. That is a big thing. It is a big thing. Darren Cox says, 130 million is a hospital or two in most places in the world. Yeah, let's not pretend what's going on in Premier League football is any way related to reality and the regular fucking lives of normal working people. Brian said, letter basically said, I couldn't be asked, please forgive me. Oof, bit strong that, but there was an element of that, I'm sure. Robert says, getting prepped for this afternoon for FA Cup final this evening. Wish us luck. Oh, for a cup final, not FA Cup final. Sorry. Oh, yeah, best of luck. Ant says, spot on. It's that darkness, those inner demons that drive us oldies on where kids just toss it off. Yeah, kids are actually smarter than us because we're fucking dumb. What are you doing? I'm going to go do a 30-kilometre hike. Why? Don't know. I'm going to go up that hill. That's going to be dead hard. I know. Are you coming? Paul says, Oban should just go to a club like Southampton first. Sadly, they ain't going to be in the league no more. Samir says, big fan all of you, Steve Love, all the way from Somalia. Nice one, our kid. Billy says, I'd be happy with either Kane or Osimhen. My worry is how much United will have to spend on a striker. Yeah, I am going to do an FFP explained because there are FFP constraints on the surface of things that United should be under, but there might be ways that can sort of be strung out a little bit. Lee says, it's that time of year, Steve, where you drop a clue about a signing, something you've heard, which is interesting maybe. I hope you're well. I'll be right honest with you right now. I haven't heard a goddamn thing about a goddamn single fucking player in or out. There's a couple of rumblings that genuinely someone has told me that they think Mason Mount is going to be signing for Liverpool and Declan Rice to Arsenal. That's the only two that I've got. I haven't, and all right, shock horror, I haven't heard them ones before. That's all I've heard. I haven't heard fucking anything surrounding United, absolutely, at all. Ant says Ramos available for 70, 75 mil. Him, Ugarte, Tielemans, Thuram would be Reet Pucker. You can do a madness with this United squad. There's a lot of ways to improve it, for sure. Who do I think we're selling? It's going to entirely depend on how much they need to raise and for how much they need to be going for. Because I think there's probably some sellable assets. Sancho could be one. Sancho's a big sellable asset, I think. Jordan says, your one-year-old version is way behind than... Right, hang on, let me read this again. Your 1-year-old version is way behind than 1-year-olds today, which is amazing about the evolution of man. Maybe. I don't know if that's entirely accurate. Based on what metrics? K. Dot says, can we do a video realistically? How much could be realistically raised by selling? Yes, I'll be doing that in the FFP video. So don't worry about that one. Adam says, reckon we'll have to splash 100 mil on a new keeper. Personally, I still rate David De Gea. I think that's probably why we are looking at extending his contract somewhat rather than just straight out getting a new goalkeeper in this summer. I think it just makes us figure it out later down the line. And when you've got things like FFP, if you do need to smash anywhere even from 60 to 100 million on a new goalkeeper, it's a decision that can wait because you've got some trust, I guess, in David De Gea for next season. Also, lad says, ownership situation seems like it could ruin the summer and slow the progress we've made massively. It does. David says, am I bored with the sales circus? Because as I am at this rate, yeah, massively so. Zaid says, thoughts on Simon Jordan saying the budget for the summer will already be sorted irrelevant to the takeover. How can that possibly be fucking true? How can that possibly be fucking true? When they don't even know who owns us, the only way that can be true is if the ownership situation stays exactly the same. That can only be the way. I don't think they've had conversations with potential owners and be like, how much do you want to spend this summer? Because there's far too... It's not a fucking video game. You can't just be like 100 mil, 100 mil, 100 mil. Sweet, let's go and spend 100 mil. Because you're committing to multi-million pound contracts over multiple years. The new owner might have... Look, there is a possibility, but I think it's a slim possibility. And the slim possibility is that when the club met with the potential bidders, they said, what's your thoughts on the summer? And they might have said, don't go bananas, not a £300 million summer, spend whatever. We're planning on spending 100 to 150 million in this kind of context. We're thinking of bringing in maybe one marquee signing and letting a few first team players go. What do you think of that? Then they might have got a bit of a nod from Sheikh Jassim, a bit of a nod from Jim Radcliffe. But there's no way that you can't say that that's going to change. If Sheikh Jassim gets the keys tomorrow afternoon, are you telling me that he's just going to roll with whatever it was? Or do you think there's half a chance that he might go, actually, let's go fucking bonkers and sign everybody? Of course he is. Come on, man. Daniel Farr says, Al-Thani could definitely do more. I'm not buying a concrete budget. Me either, mate. Dennis says, with the disrespect City fans are giving Cancelo, and starting rumours about Arteta will also go, and about how Arteta will also go for him, is City 2.0 project. What are my thoughts are going for Cancelo, offers so much? Yeah, I really like Cancelo. Defensively, he wasn't greatest against pace, but yeah, I think he's a hell of a player. Jokia says, Monesty, late, what did I miss? Osimhen wants the Premier League, which has supposedly tipped it in United's favour. And we're having a look at Oban, who people think is going to go for 20 million. At 20 million, that's basically free nowadays. I don't think he'll go for 20 million. The price is not 20 million when United get on the phone. It's not. It's just more. Anthony says, why do you think big players like Sanchez and Sancho fail at United, but City don't seem to have that issue? Also, did someone kill my barber? I missed my appointment. I get an appointment every other week, and my appointment is next week. I missed my last appointment. Therefore, I look like I slept in the woods. Why do big players fail at United but not at City? Well, that's because City have been able to hide the people that have failed at City. Because there's been numerous ones. And also, it's a team that's been largely successful. You can come in and out of a successful team and look all right, even if you're not necessarily playing that well. Scott McTominay, for example, at the start of this season when United were playing well, looked pretty good. Fabian Delph looked pretty good playing in that Manchester City team. Was he actually good, or was he just really helped out by all of the players around him to a certain degree? Tom Cleverley and Anderson looked absolutely fine surrounded by some of the players that they were playing with at United for a minute. That's what good players do. They can help make you look good. The key is to identify which ones are being the drivers here and which ones are just treading water in the team and not fucking it up too bad. You know, it's identifying which players are actually the ones that are the driving forces here, and you could get more out of a team if you flipped it. That's what it's all about, identifying. Zayed says Guardiola improves most players. If that was true, why has he signed about fucking 75 players? If Guardiola can tangibly improve every single fucking player that he gets hold of, why does he need to sign loads and loads of players? So we just go through... let's have a look here at all the players that Pep has signed, because there has been so fucking many. So, Jack Grealish, 117 million. Is he playing better now than he ever played at Aston Villa? I don't know if you could say that. He's playing a little bit different, sure, but is he playing tangibly better than he ever played at Aston Villa? I don't necessarily think that's the case. Ruben Dias had an excellent season. Now he's kind of up and down a little bit with him. Rodri, has he improved him? Or is that just how good Rodri was? Riyad Mahrez. Again, he was a league winner before he came. Excellent, unbelievable footballer. Ditto. Laporte. Yeah. Cancelo did well for him. Not sure the circumstances that he got rid of him. Erling Haaland. Has he made him any better? Benjamin Mendy, 57 million euro signing. Did he make him better? John Stones. He got hidden for like 2 years, John Stones. He's playing well now, but he got the like. When have United have been able to have a signing that was worth as much as he was worth? This was 2016. He signed him for 50 million. It was a serious amount of cash for a centre half at the time. Surely he was considered a failure for almost 2 years because he wasn't fucking playing him. Kyle Walker, I think he's improved. Kyle Walker. Sané, a lot of money, ends up fucking him off to Germany. Bernardo Silva. He's been a good player. Calvin Phillips. It's not fucking improved him. Nathan Ake. Looks good, but he always looked good. Ederson. Has he improved? Or was he just good? Ferran Torres. Is he even still there? Where's he nowadays? You know, Danilo. There's been some big fucking players that haven't necessarily done loads here. Nolito. Bravo. He's been fortunate enough to be able to replace players that he signed that haven't worked. Naresh says, what do I think about Garnacho's development, considering Rashford will probably take the left wing spot as a starter? How can we start both, especially if we buy a star striker? Don't know. God says, what about Ornstein saying all our transfers are on hold till the deal is finalised? So there you go. So you've got Simon Jordan saying everything's all fucking systems go, and then someone who actually knows a thing or two saying everything's on hold. Which one are you more likely to believe? Which says, don't forget United's shirt weighs heavier than City's. It really can be that simple. Look at Sancho. Yeah, I think there's an element of that as well. Darren Cox says Calvin Phillips has stalled his career by going to City. Completely true. Notch says that's a ton of players who were good before they joined City. Yeah. It's like when he's developed Sterling. Sterling went for £50 million to Manchester City a long ass time ago. He was already very well. It wasn't like they found him in a bin, was it? Like someone spent 50 million on him. They obviously thought he was pretty fucking good. Apna says it's not Guardiola, it's City's recruitment that has been the main difference in this case. I absolutely agree. I actually think some of the signings that Pep has seemingly pushed for haven't done as well as some of the signings. Like if you look at who City's best players have been, they were there before Pep. You know, your David Silvas, your Companies, Yaya Toure, De Bruyne, Aguero. None of them are Pep. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Cheers for tuning in. Preview is going to be out a little bit later, and so make sure you tune in for that. I'm on the brew with Jay at 4. We've got Carl Anker joining us, and also at 5 o'clock ish, we should be uploading the golf video from yesterday. Me and Ash went and played golf, or hit the driving range, I think it's safe to say. It was fucking chaos, so I'm going to check that out on 5. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. Catch you in the next one. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.